This is episode 3 of my Omakase of the Week series, where every week I'm going to try a different Omakase restaurant. Today we're at Yasu for their $180 Omakase menu. We start with a plate of appetizers. Really beautiful presentation, but I will say this bush got in the way at times. This was flounder topped with uni and the jelly broth. I love the vinegar in it and how refreshing it made the dish. If you're unfamiliar, this next one is cod sperm. No diddy, but I usually enjoy this. But today it tasted very plasticky. This was rice topped with minced tuna and ikura. This is probably the best ikura I've had in Toronto. Pairing that with the minced tuna and the rice was really great. But what wasn't great was this bonito. The sauce was very salty. Then it was time to get into the sushi. He started us off with shima aji. This was definitely up there in one of my favorites. Really nice knife work and flavors from the fish. The shrimp though was a little bit of a miss, a little bit too mushy for my liking. And this next piece made my friend gay. It was this mackerel roll. She hates mackerel, so I could see her just trying to like down that piece. But for me, the flavor was pretty good. I will say it was a little bit too cold, and maybe chef could have torched it for a little bit more. Then we got the usual 3 cuts of tuna. The lean one definitely was the best out of the 3. It's the most flavorful as expected, but the fattier pieces felt like they were less flavorful than they should have been. They also weren't cut the best in my opinion. The lobster was a pretty big miss for me. Didn't have much sweetness and I felt it was overcooked. But the sea bass marinated in kelp and bonito flakes was one of my favorites because it was so complex in flavor. Then we had the golden eye snapper, which was torched beautifully and had such a nice smokiness to it. The uni is definitely the best we had so far in the series. It was creamy, sweet, and just served at the perfect temperature. Their Spanish mackerel had such a deep flavor, and overall definitely a step up from the $90 places. I would say for the most part the rice was better, although maybe not enough to justify this price point. There was times where I felt the rice was a little bit on the mushier side, and towards the end I felt like the rice was a little bit too warm. Join me next week where it gets even more expensive.